Okay, we're starting Vav and Bais Amar Mar. We're quoting the Tosefta that has Daled Rishayis L'Shabbos. It's going to go on for another 2 days, I think. So Amar Mar, the master says, Habal Yamu Bika V'Stevanis V'Karmelis Eina Lekir Shesech Lekir Shesarab. That's a quote. Started off saying, what's Rosh Hashanah? That's a ditch on top of a wall. What's Rosh Hashanah? That's a street or a plaza. Can't carry from one to another. However, a sea, a valley, which we can see is like an open area, or there's fields, where it's the vanis of the stands of the shop, and the Carmelists are not a Rosh Hashanah and not a Rosh Hashanah. Isn't it funny? It says that. Yeah. Like Rosh Hashanah, like Rosh Hashanah. I don't. There's not much of a difference in that. Gemara now asks, you quoted Bika, which is translated as a valley, but it means like an open field. Bika ain't a lake, just a yachid, just a rabbin. A valley is not a Rosh Hashanah and not a Rosh Hashanah. That's what you're telling me. But we have a Mishnah somewhere else in Taharis. Correct. Yeah. Habika be Maisachamer Rosh Hashanah. Habika in the summer is the Rosh Hashanah Shabbos regarding Shabbos. In other words, there's not enough people there for it to be considered a Rosh Hashanah in the summer, even though there's not a cloud there. And technically, you can walk there, but it's not enough of an area that people go. However, it's a Rosh Hashanah with Tumah. Tumah, which is learned from how a Saita would be secluded with another man, a woman would be secluded with another man. Seclusion takes place in a private area. This has enough people that it's not considered seclusion, so therefore it's considered a Rosh Hashanah. Now, why is that relevant? It's relevant for if there's ever a suffix tumah, the doubt if something is tamei in a Rosh Hashanah, we say that it's tough. So a valley in the winter, a valley in the summer is a Rosh Hashanah because people do go there, so it's not considered a secluded area. In the winter, no one's going to walk on this field. It's already been planted or whatever. Maybe it's muddy, I don't know. So it's Rosh Hashanah lekach or lekach. It's Rosh Hashanah for both. No one goes there. It's Rosh Hashanah for Shabbos. Rosh Hashanah for Tumah. Any doubt Tumah there is going to be Tumah. This creates a problem because we said that a Bika is not a Rosh Hashanah, not a Rosh Hashanah. Now you're telling me a Bika is a Rosh Hashanah. Whether it's in the summer or the winter, for Shabbos, it's always a Rosh Hashanah.
Is there a way to know who Mar is?
Well, Mar just means, like it's like saying rabbi. Like the rabbi taught.
We don't know.
It doesn't. No, it's not that we don't know. It doesn't have a. It's a generic term for anything that was said before. So you always have to look before. Like let's say it said ibid. I don't know what that stands for.
And others, I think.
It just means that whoever was mentioned before, that's who we're quoting it. So, Amar Ula. Ula is going to give us an answer. Rav Ashi is going to give us an answer. Amar Ula Leilam Carmelis Habit. Really, what it means is that it's a Carmelis. But my color, it's just a Yachid. Why does it say it's a Rosh Hashanah? We say Rosh Hashanah because it's not a Rosh Hashanah. Now, the way to understand this is that it's not just the lavdaf. There is a one step further. That is
not exactly.
Yeah, it means like
Not necessarily.
What here it's saying is that you called it a Rosh Hashanah for Tumah. So when you wanted to say it's not the Rosh Hashanah for Tumah, so you said it's a Rishus HaYachid because I had a contrast. Because of the contrast, they said it's a Rishus HaYachid. Because wanted to contrast it with the Rishus HaRabim for Tumah. He said it's a Rishus HaYachid. But really, all you meant to do was contrast and say that it's not. But when you get into the details, it's actually contrast. In other words, it's the contrast that made us say what the other thing is a Rishus HaRabim. You said it's not a Rishus HaRabim. We said it's Rishus HaYachid. Meant to say it's a karma. Rav Ashi has another teretz. He says, "Kagoin, we're on top of Tafsayina. We're going to Isla Mechitzas. Talking about it has walls. It's a different type of bika.
So are you suggesting it's a problem with Torah, just like you were saying about Dafka by Shabbos, so without Dafka by Tumah?
No, by Tumah, that was what we were actually talking about. Because over there we said Rishus HaRabim meant Rishus HaRabim. It means it has all the halachas that is stuff that can come as tar. We wanted to say it's not a Rishus HaRabim. We said it's Rishus HaYachid, but we meant to say karma. Yeah. Okay. Rav Ashi's teretz is named Isla Mechitzas. We're talking about a karmelis that has walls. And take a look. We have a statement about this by Ula in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Karfif Yesimi Bais Asaya. You have a park area. Yeah. I like to say park because if you look at the word Karfif, it has the letters park in there. So there's a park that's larger than a Bais Asaya. It's like a Kafladira that's enclosed, but it's not enclosed for any residents, any living.
Could be a construction site also.
Could be. I don't know. It depends. I don't know. Vafilu kirayim. Even if it's even larger than that, a kor and kirayim. A kor is 30 sa. The base of science. See, the way we measure land is by how much grain is required to sow that land. Yeah.
Block or
maybe 200 years. 150 years. Yeah, so they measured land by how much grain would be sowed in it. So sown. So a 50 by 50 amma area, you could use 1 sa of grain. Sosayim was a 50 by 100 area. That's how much grain you would use to spread to sow that field. That's a sosayim. That's double that, 50 by 100. A core is 30 sa. So we're talking about a massive area. But 50 by 100 is 5,000 square feet. So that's the size of the Mishkan. So even if it's even larger than this field Kurayim, or even if it's 2 core is 30, this would be 60, I think. The core is 30 sa, I think. This way. So if someone throws from outside into it, it's going to be chayav, because this is considered a Rishus HaYachid. Throws from Rishus HaRabim into this enclosed area, it's chayav. My time mechitzi, it has a wall. The only thing is, because no one lives in it, so it has a different status, but you really can't carry in that area itself. So it has a din of Rishus HaYachid relative to someone that throws from the outside. So now we have an answer. You called the Bika Carmelis, that's when it doesn't have a wall. Or maybe even with a wall, you're able to do this. You called it Rishus HaYachid, that's with a wall. How could it be a Carmelis even with a wall? Well, it depends what you're referring to. You're throwing from outside, considered Rishus HaYachid. But in the area itself, you can't carry more than 4 cubits. Special halacha.
yeah, then why would you even need walls when you're trying to like separate an area? Why do we physically need barriers then?
How does it help such a large area around the city? What does the area help?
Yeah.
The answer is because in the city we have houses that we live, so it's enclosed for residents. So that's why it should help. Here it's enclosed, it's a park that's enclosed without any residents. So it's just like a park. The golf course. So Bishlam Ravashi Layamar Kaula. We understand why Ravashi gave this wonderful answer. He doesn't say like Ula, because Ula was a daichik. Ula says, really, it's a karmelis. Why do you call it Rishus Yachid? Because it's not a Rishus Rabbin. Okay, we understand that it's a given why Ravashi didn't want to go like that. Ula, my time Ula, it gets worse. Because who does Ravashi quote to tell me that this special halacha about a karfe, that if it's, even though it's enclosed, you still can't carry in it and all of that? Who does he quote? He quotes Ula. This is a din from Ula. Ula that's answering these Mishnayos, the Bais, this contradiction. He could have said his own teaching, and he could have answered it easily. So Amalach, he would tell you, Ula would say, Ides lamachitzas, if it has walls, they could karele, karfafi. Why are you calling it a valley? It's called a karfif. So therefore you can't say that it has walls. Ravashi says, Ravashi says, but you can't answer it that it's karmelis because it says Rishus HaYachid. Each one has an issue with with the wording. Okay, the next thing that we discuss here is we said that an ocean, a sea, a valley, the stands, and the karmelis. Now, when you said and the karmelis, so that's what we were talking about. All of those.
Therefore, of course, to say that it's fenced.
That it's fenced in. That's Rashi's answer. That it's fenced in. Because he didn't want to answer like the Ula that says that it says Rishus HaYachid, but it means karmelis. Okay, so we said Vaha karmelis. And the karmelis. The Gemara asks, Atakula Nami Lav karmelis Nino? Are they all not karmelis? You had a list of 4 things. And you conclude that all 4 are a karmelis. One of those 4 is a karmelis. You said they're all a karmelis. Right? So Kiyasa Rabdimi Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabdimi came. Rabdimi was a traveler, one of the earlier travelers before Rabin, I think, like Ula. And he says in the name of Rabbi Yechanan that what this is referring to is Leinitzchel Karen Zavas Asmuchel Rishus Rabin. We're talking about a corner that's next to Rishus Rabin. The Alfagav the Zimnin the Dachku Be Rabin Va'ila Legabe. Since sometimes the Rabin does push the crowd, does push their way into those corners, but given the Leinicha Tashmishe Karmelis Dami. Since it's not easy to use, it's considered a karmelis. Now, what exactly this means? 2 interpretations like Rashi. Yeah. So that's a good picture. He's saying this is a special type of area. You see that?
Okay.
That it's a Karen Zavis. It's a corner. The house is made on the corner of the house. The house is turned sideways, so the corner sticks out. You probably have even better. So those areas, those areas are a karmelis. What is that? So the house is in Lakewood?
It's the
The area between the edges of the houses is karmelis.
crooked. No, this is coming.
So
Yeah, that's true. I think Joey Smith actually looks at that right now. The house is just set back. I think that Arizona is like
so.
yeah, it's a good point.
Two possibilities.
I think this is Sear Bates.
Yeah. It could be two shots in Rashi. So what we're saying is that we do have a unique case of a karmelis, and that's this specific case. It's where sometimes the rabbin could technically go there, but they usually won't because it's very difficult to use because they can't walk straight on their path. And this is also,
masses don't go with it.
well, it could be a bit. That's not the uniqueness is not the way the house was built. The uniqueness is the way that people walk. That they won't normally end up going into that area. And so even though it is an area that the rabbin could be using, but they normally won't, we consider it a karmelis. It's considered a karmelis. Kiyasa, okay. Kiyasa Rabdimi, we already said 1 point from Rabdimi, and this explains the karmelis in the category of karmelises. Kiyasa Rabdimi and Rabdimi came, Rabbi Yeshua and Bein Amudim Nidin karmelis. We get another halacha now. In the plaza, there are these stands where they probably hang up things to sell. Now it's difficult to walk through that area because you see the stands over there? Because the stands are not made in rows. They're on and off, odd positions. So you can't really walk straight. You have to keep zigzagging around these holes. So he says that's also a karmelis.
Like a department store. When you're looking for the bathroom.
What is that? Yeah.
Things are hung from these.
Yeah, he says it's like the department stores when you're looking for the bathroom.
Second floor all the way in the back.
Go around there.
My
So,
wife wants to know why don't I have GPS in the mall, so you could just go straight to the store. You can never find it.
so
Would work.
my timer. Why is it considered a karmelis? It's in the plaza. Mar explains. Even though everyone's walking there, because you can't walk there clearly to karmelis, it's like a karmelis. Hard to walk through. Taisvis asks, what happened to the 16 amas that it says that you need to have for Rosh Hashanah?
That was the definition from the other page. 16 numbers one.
You don't have. Okay, let's see a little further. Maybe, it could be that you can include the whole area and you ignore the fact that you don't have between each pole 16 amas. It could be that's what Taisus is saying, that you just take the whole area. Amar Rab Zera, Amar Rab Yehuda. Rab Zera says the name of Rab Yehuda. Rab Zera was in Bavel before he went to Eretz Yisrael. He was a student of Rab Yehuda. I think he was the one that he was avoiding Rabbi Yehuda before he left. Itztaba shalifnei amudim. They had these little stones that they could sit on when they were selling, and it seems like it's in front of these posts, in between the plaza and the stores. They had these posts, but in front of those posts were these seats. So that's Nidin Kakarmelis.
Benches at the mall.
The benches. This is also a karmelis. So the Gemara explains. Laman damar beina amudim. If you hold that it's a karmelis between the posts, so koshkinitz. But for sure in that area, which is even less of the people walk there in these benches area. For sure they're not walking there.
How can you walk on the bench?
Well, between the benches. Laman damar itztaba, but according to one that says the itztaba is a karmelis. But there it's difficult to use, to walk around. But they're amongst the posts. That's not a problem. That could be considered Shasarabit.
Why can't you call it Makam Patur?
What does that mean?
Makam Patur?
Oh, Makam Patur.
Yeah. Right the other day.
Yeah.
Is that French?
Right in front of. It's my accent. It was right in front of like the supermarket area. So this is right in front of their.
No,
No,
we
you
call it a Makom Tour.
Because the guy in Rosh
No, the Tzidei
Hashanah,
Rosh Hashanah, we had a machlokes.
the
Oh,
question
you're
was
saying
if the
something
guy was
interesting.
standing there and one
say
passed to
something
him
interesting.
and he passed
Yeah,
inside.
that was an Itztaba, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
That was a, we're calling it Itztaba. That we called a skufa. That we called a skufa. That was a doorstep. The Tzidei Rosh Hashanah itself, that was a machlekes Shabbos and the Rabbanan, if it was a Rosh Hashanah or not. But that wasn't the Makom Tour.
Wasn't there a
According to Rabbi,
situation where
it depended.
the guy in the front, like there were three people, and one passed to the middle one, and the middle one passed to the guy inside, and they were all.
Yeah, that was on the skufa. That was on the doorstep.
That's what. So this sounds like almost the same.
Rabbi, is it a shoot Arabim you have to have certain amount of people walking by that?
So Tosfos yesterday said that it's mashma from what Rabbi says that there needs to be 600,000. Not and the Gemara so far we didn't have that. We didn't have the 16 amos either in the Gemara yet. We just said a plaza. But Tosfos over here mentions why you're saying that there could be. This is where the Tosfos was on this piece. Why you're saying that according to the one that says it's a Carmelis, but the Bein Amudim is going to be a Rosh Hashanah. You don't have 16 amos. That's.
No, that's a lot of people, 600,000. I mean, we always say it's from coming out of Mitzrayim, but it's also the amount of people that died in the swine flu 100 years ago. Over 600,000. Not just Spanish flu. Excuse me. Which didn't start in Spain.
We can imagine Woodstock coming out.
Are you trying to get people riled up?
Yeah, don't
No,
freak people
just
out, man.
want you to relate to a number.
Job security.
God forbid, that's what we're trying to put down.
How many people died in the Civil War? There's also 600,000.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
that number
listen,
pops up a lot.
No, that fits better with the Yates and Mitzrayim.
Okay.
And you can't retire now.
There's another version. Aval Beina Amudim, but between the posts, there's another version of this. Zimnin the Darsi Rabim Kirshus Rabdam. It's possible that people will walk through there when it's crowded, and that's considered Rishus Rabim. Okay, what the difference is between the two versions, I'm not sure. Amar Rabba Barshila. Rabba Barshila says, Amar Rafizda. He says in the name of Rafizda, Leveina Zakufa Rishus Rabim. If you have a brick is 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim, right? That's usually what it is. And however, the thickness of the brick, the big brick, because they made it from probably mud bricks or whatever.
Yeah, for the CBS block, no, Aaron, would be 3 by 3 tfachim. No,
Yes, it's less.
less than that.
The question
It's,
is,
16 by 8 by 8.
So-
8 by 8 is 2
right?
Your
Right.
fists.
So,
So it's when the people need to wake up that they cannot take it from the shoot Arabim to it on the police or on the soldier in the
the brick, the thickness of the brick is undetermined. That depends on how thick you wanted to make it, but the size of it, the width and the length is 3 by 3. So if you have this that's standing up in Rosh Hashanah, the zarak, you threw something, the tach b'faneh, and it's stuck to it. Chayev. He's chayev. Why? He threw 4 amas. And it's considered, if land from one side of Rosh Hashanah to 4 amas in Rosh Hashanah is chayev. Al gaba, but let's say it landed on top of it. Then he's pater. We're going to see shortly. Abaya v'rava damri tarvayo v'husha gavaya shleisha d'lei darsi l'rab. Why do we say it's pater? Because it's less than 4 by 4. That means it doesn't have its own rishus. So it's only 3 by 3. But if it's 3 tfachim tall, and it's not considered on the ground, it's considered removed from the ground, it becomes a makom p'tur. It becomes an area where people don't walk on. If people would walk on it, walk over it, then it would still be considered a rishus rabbit. But because people don't walk over it, so it has its own status, and you're going to be exempt.
Except for kids under the age of 5 who definitely
walk on
only
every
walk
wall.
over it.
That's right. Aval Hizmi v'Higi. Look at this. Hizmi and Higi are types of thorns or bushes.
Oh, I know those two.
We have them in other places. Afagav Legvi Shloisha. Even though it's not 3 tvachim tall, over there you're going to be potter as well. Because people don't walk over that. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to get hurt from the thorns. No, people would walk on these little bushes and thorns. But if there's an area that has manure, excrement on the floor, that people aren't going to step in. So that's not a Rosh Hashanah. That little area there would take away, it won't be considered a Rosh Hashanah. No one walks there. Rav Ashi says no, people step in it also when they're rushing and they're not looking.
Oh boy.
And
Don't walk on the swale.
Oh boy.
okay.
And
So we have the interesting. We just gave us a bunch of small cases of inner Rosh Hashanah itself, where it's not considered Rosh Hashanah because people would avoid those little areas.
Is there a Carmelist that's not a carve out from the Rosh Hashanah?
Is there a Carmelist? That's
So far, all our examples are a carve out from the Rosh Hashanah, right? It would be the Rosh Hashanah, but it's a Carmelist for this reason or that.
oh, I don't think he's calling it a Carmelist
What is it?
because Carmelist is really a Rosh Hashanah that's not enclosed. Well, what was a Carmelist?
Wait,
So
no.
the Carmelist was a sea.
The Carmelist,
or a val- or a-
these posts, didn't this post make an area that's a Carmelist?
No, I thought we made it was just
Oh,
a
yeah.
yachid.
That
The
was
one around the
considered-
well.
No, he's talking about the Bein Amudim by the stores. We
Oh.
called it a Carmelist.
It was around the well, and it was just a
Uh-huh.
yachid to draw the
So are
water.
all of this a Carmelist, or is this considered a Makam P'tur?
All in favor, to raise your hand.
No, it depends. If it's on top, it's Makom Torah. You just said,
Right.
it's butter.
Right.
It's on top of it. And that's Machlokas.
Yeah, it has to be a Makam P'tur because
This
the Carmelist would be a Rosh Hashanah with their eyesight.
So this area with the posts, this little shuk in the middle of the Rosh Hashanah is a Makam Patur.
That we said was a Carmelist.
That is a
That's a
Carmelist.
Carmelist. That we said clearly
Don't
was a
step on
Carmelist.
your higgy.
These other areas that are 3 tvachim, by 3 tvachim, that could be a Makam P'tur.
But why do you say that the Kamas Rosh Hashanah though, right? So in that case, with the Bein Hamudim, it's not Rosh Hashanah, right? So that's not.
You're right.
We're saying it's a Carmelist, meaning it's not Rosh
You're
Hashanah.
right. You're right.
It's an in between.
You're right.
All right. Welcome to.
That's definitely Makom Torah. If it be,
He must have stepped on his higgy.
You're right. You're right.
he's saying that's what he's getting at, is that it's really in between.
Let's go further. Maybe we may get some clarity. Okay. Amar Rabba Debei Rav Shila. Rabba from the yeshiva of Rav Shila says, Kiyasar Rav Dimi Amar Rav Yechon. He said that when Rav Dimi came, he said the name of Rav Yechonon. This is our third statement, I think, from
You don't say
Rav
anything in the name of
Yechonon.
Rish
I don't know. We have to look for that. As we go through, we'll look to see. Ein Carmelist Fusame Arba. The Carmelist has to be at least 4 tvachim. The Amar Rav Sheshis. And Rav Sheshis says, so okay, we're gonna have 2 statements qualifying a Carmelist.
If you have even on the fence, you go on top of it. If you have 3 tfachim, it's
Right. Right. So now we're qualifying the size of a Carmelist. The size of a Carmelist. One statement from Rabbi Yochanan that its width and length need to be 4 tvachim. And I'm Rav Sheshes with Tefesses Adasar, and it goes up to 10 tefachim. Gemara is going to question, what does this mean? The Carmelist goes up to 10 tefachim. My Tefesses Adasar, what does it mean it goes up to 10 tefachim? So we're going to get some qualifications for the Carmelist. Eily mediyek mechitza asara hu davi Carmelist, Eily lo yavi Carmelist. What do you mean to say? That if it has that a Carmelist needs to be fenced in, that's when it's going to be considered a Carmelist, and the fence needs to be 10 tefachim. And if it doesn't have a fence, it's not a Carmelist. It's not considered a Carmelist if it doesn't have a fence. A house that has, this is more like a crawl space than a house, but this is a house that has a very low roof, under 10 tefachim. The kiruv mashnim al asara. It'd be like this tall, but together with the roof, it's 10 tefachim. So that means al gaga. If you go on the roof, you're 10 tefachim above the ground. So mutal etaltal over there you can carry bekulay along the whole roof. You're 10 tefachim raised above the ground. That's considered like a rishus hayachid. B'saychai. But if you're in the house under that roof and there's no walls,
I feel like a tent. Like camping.
There's no 10 tefachim. Yeah, like a tent. Ein metalkum bayala dal ramas. You can only carry within four ramas. You can't carry more than 4 ramas. Which means
inside the enclosure.
Inside.
Or within the
Underneath
of the enclosure. Inside the enclosure.
Underneath this roof.
Mm-hmm.
You can't carry there. Why? Considered a Carmelist. It means a Carmelist doesn't need to be 10 tefachim. Are there walls on this house?
Something's holding the roof up.
Yeah, that could be posts.
The old post can be.
So, whatever the case is, we are seeing that a Carmelist does not need to have walls of 10 tefachim, because this clearly doesn't have walls of 10 tefachim. It's not even 10. The whole thing isn't 10 tefachim. So, what does Rav Sheshes mean that a Carmelist is tefesses ad asara? It grabs it until 10 tefachim. Ella mai v'tefesses ad yud. What does it mean that it grabs it in 10 tefachim? The ad yud hu da'avi Carmelist. L'maylam yud tefachim la yavi Carmelist. It's the opposite. That you don't have a Carmelist above 10 tefachim. That means, I guess, the airspace of a Carmelist. Over 10 tefachim is not considered a Carmelist. The Chihada Amar Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda, this is similar to what Shmuel told Rabbi Yehuda, Shinina.
Sharp one.
Sharp one, or Bhakti. Like to heavy mili the Shabbat l'maylam yud. Don't discuss, to heavy is deliberate. Don't deliberate on things, on matters of Shabbos above 10 tefachim. It might help, so what was he referring to? Eily medein rishus hayachid l'maylam yud. If he means to say that above 10 tefachim there's no rishus hayachid, it's not true. No, it's kind of rishus hayachid. If you have a post, a stick in the ground in rishus hayachid. I'm sorry.
Was a student of Shmuel?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this is our second reference. This is our second reference to basketball. We had a first one and earlier, and now we have another one in basketball.
Right. Not kind of b'shus hayachid. If he puts a stick in rishus hayachid, Gezarak, and he throws something, v'nachal gabav, and it lands on top. Afilu gavayim meyama is chayav. Mipnei shir rishus hayachid ola ad rakia. Rishus hayachid goes up. Rishus hayachid continues upwards above 10 tefachim. Okay, so Shmuel tells Rabbi Yehuda that don't discuss the laws of Shabbos above 10 tefachim. It sounds like it doesn't apply. What are you talking about? Rishus hayachid, it's a rishus hayachid. That applies. Ella, so what's he referring to? The Ein Rishus Harabim l'maylam yud.
Hasidish, this would be called Yoba Shemayim.
Must be he's talking about the Rishus Harabim, the l'maylam yud, which is actually true. The only problem is masnisimi. That's a mishnah. Ditnan hazerek dalaramis b'kaisa l'maylam yud tvachim kazerek ba'avir. If you throw something 4 cubits, 4 cubits, and it goes onto a wall. So, and it's 10 tvachim tall. So it's as if you threw it into the avir. Now, the avir means that you didn't throw it onto a defined location and you're exempt. Lamatam yud tvachim, but if you threw it and it hit the wall, it sticks to the wall. Under 10 tvachim, that's kazerek parts. That's like you threw it onto the ground, and the ground is a rishus harabim. So you'd be chayav because you went 4 amos in rishus harabim. So is Shmuel telling Rabbi Yehuda that there's no rishus hayachid above 10 tvachim? Can't be, because that's not true. There is rishus hayachid. Is he telling him that there's no rishus harabim above 10 tvachim, which is true? That's already a mishnah. You can't be telling him that. Ella karmelis. He must be telling him karmelis that we don't have a mishnah for. He's telling him in karmelis l'mayla miyud, that we don't have a karmelis above 10 tvachim. Those areas, whatever it is, an ocean, a valley, or the stores, or a karmelis. Okay. The ikila be rabbanan mikuli rishus hayachid and mikuli rishus harabim. They have there the leniencies of both main locations. How does it work? Mikuli rishus hayachid, as the leniencies of rishus hayachid, the ikamakam arba hu dahavi karmelis. If it's going to be a karmelis, it needs to be 4 tvachim by 4 tvachim. That's a rule that we have for rishus hayachid. Rishus hayachid that's under 4 tvachim, it's not considered rishus hayachid. It needs to be at least 4 tvachim. Now, if it's under that, then it's not a rishus hayachid. And a karmelis also is not a karmelis if it's under 4 tvachim. The Eily, if it's under that, makam p'tur be'almahu, it's just a regular makam p'tur, which the makam p'tur you can carry from rishus hayachid to a makam p'tur and from a makam p'tur to rishus harabim, right? And it also has mikuli rishus harabim. It has the leniencies of a public domain. The adya tvachim as well.
So if it's Shabbos and someone saw your $50 bill, and right next to it is a shoebox, half a shoebox, and they kicked backwards the bill under half a shoebox, so they'll be hidden there. Just making up the story, right? They did not move it. They moved it less than 4 tvachim. They moved it into a makam p'tur, and they didn't really carry on Shabbos. They can come back here for Shabbos.
So,
Chad, we always mention a story like that.
By the way, if you follow that, you're gonna get in trouble.
He followed it.
so you don't move the money. You move the box. You move the box. Let's say. Okay.
Okay, that was. Well, the box had no purpose, so either one would be moved.
I don't know. Okay.
You kicked it backwards.
So you move the box. Now, under 4 amos, and under 4 amos, you can move anyway, I think, in a public area. No? I'm not sure.
Public area you could, right?
I don't know.
It's not halacha sure.
I mean, less
Yeah,
than
Daf
4
Yomi is not halacha share.
less than
But
4
4
amos.
amos.
Right.
Can I pick something up?
Less than 4
Under
amos is not
4 amos.
Oh boy.
Ronnie, you're really thinking out of the box.
Well, that's how I normally
go like
think.
this?
I'm trying to think into
Can
the
I go like
box.
this and it's just Robin and take a step? It's 1 step, 2 steps.
Here.
I don't know. I mean, we have to look it up, but it doesn't say. It's only 4. You think so? Okay.
But Rabbi just lost down to
I don't know.
50
So mikul rishus ram da'ad yitvachim hu dahavi karmelis. L'maylam yitvachim layavi karmelis. It's only going to be a karmelis until 10 tvachim, just like in rishus harabim. If you go up higher and rishus harabim becomes a makom p'tur, so too in a karmelis, if you go up higher above 10 tvachim, it becomes a makom p'tur. Makom p'tur is you can carry from a rishus harabim into a makom p'tur, and from rishus hayachid into a makom p'tur, and vice versa. Makom p'tur is an exempt area.
It's a sanctuary area.
So that's like
It's
these
not like
leniencies.
Carmelis doesn't have that same.
Carmelis doesn't. Carmelis is more strict. However, Carmelis has leniencies of both Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah, what makes it into a Carmelis. Is there such thing as a Chatzi Shir by a Malacha? Is there a Chatzi Shir by a Malacha? If by Shnaim Shasu, that's because there was a full Malacha done. That's not a Chatzi Shir, that's just it's really we don't blame it on.
Say the same thing when we have.
Are we still talking Dr. Stein's case?
Yeah, I mean, we got you guys.
No, we're past that.
No, he's asking if 4 tefachim, if under 4 amas, if that's mutter or that's pater of alasim.
All
right.
Rule number 3. So not all adopted.
Okay. Okay. Gufa, we learned before. This was the statement of Rav Gidl Amar Chia Bar Yosef Amar Rav. So Gufa is when you want to re-examine. It's the Amar Mar for a statement of Amirayim. Amar Mar was the statement of Tanaim, and Gufa is when you want to re-examine Amirayim. So Gufa we learned before Rav Gidl Amar Chia Bar Yosef Amar Rav. Bayashem Teicha Yud. If you have a house that under the roof is not 10 tefachim, but kirui of mashlima liyud, but the roof completes it to 10 tefachim. Therefore, al gaga, if you go on top of the roof, mutal etal bakula, you can carry there. But b'toichai ein metalton le'al b'dalet amas. You can only carry within 4 cubits.
So this is like the old under the boardwalk.
Oh no.
Coney Island Beach. If you
Maybe.
went under the boardwalk,
What is a beach?
Because that's where the boardwalks were.
Don't get
And
it.
you were eating there as long as you were within
Aha,
Dalet Tzvachim.
that's interesting. Dalet amas.
Amar
Abaya.
We knew that was coming. So obvious.
Amar Abaya. V'imchakek by dalet al dalet b'shlim liyud. Mutal taltal bakula. Look at what happens there. Why was it not considered a Rosh Hashanah? Because it didn't have an area of 10 tefachim, so it wasn't considered a Rosh Hashanah. However, if you went under there and you dug out in the ground an area 4 by 4 tefachim that deepened it enough that from that ditch to the roof was 10 tefachim, and because that area becomes, at least that 4 by 4 becomes Rosh Hashanah, then all the surrounding areas as well will also become Rosh Hashanah.
That's not what we said in the case where the guy was standing in the ditch and he had his just standing outside so that he was holding something all together was more than 10 tefachim, even though his hand
And he
was
put it
there.
down, right? That would be because over there he's putting it onto Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
But here he's in the whole house. The house is within the roof is within 10 tefachim of the ground, so it's not a Rosh Hashanah. But he dug a hole over here. So in that hole, from the bottom of the hole to here is 10 tefachim. That becomes Rosh Hashanah. Our chiddush is that the surrounding area also becomes Rosh Hashanah. We'll see why. So Abaya Amar, I'm sorry. Mutal Talta Bakule. My timer. What's the reason? Have a Chayri Rosh Hashanah. Chayri Rosh Hashanah means that if I have a Rosh Hashanah and there's like holes in the wall of this Rosh Hashanah, that's considered Rosh Hashanah as well. And
You mean like a hole through the wall or like an alcove? Like a hole in the wall?
so far I'm imagining an alcove. Otherwise, I don't know what's the other side. If it's going to
The
be a
alcove's full of
conflict.
pigeons.
I don't know which one would take over.
wall.
The Itmar, as it was stated, statement of Machlekes Amirayim, Chayrish Yachid Kirshus Yachidami. That everyone agrees to. the holes, the alcove of the Rishus Yachid is like Rishus Yachid. However, Chayr Rishus Rabim, that is a machlekes. Abaye Amar Rishus Rabim Dami, Rav Amalav Rishus Rabim Dami. Abaye says that yes, that's the same as the Rishus Rabim. These little holes that are in the walls along the side of Rishus Rabim, and Rabbi says no. Amli Rav Ala Abaye. Rabbi says to Abaye, Lididach Damit Chayr Rishus Rabim Rishus Rabim Dami. He asks him a question. You hold that it's considered Rishus Rabim. You said before that there's a Carmelis. One of the cases of Carmelis was another Carmelis. So we said, why do you have to say that a Carmelis is one of the Carmelis? They're all Carmelis. I said, no, there's a special case where I have a corner of a house that's protruding outwards because it's turned sideways. I have that area where people don't normally go in, and you said that's considered a Carmelis. If you hold that Chayrei Rishus Rabim is not considered Rishus Rabim, if you hold that it is considered Rishus Rabim, so it goes like this. So why did you need to answer that? What's the case of the Carmelis, the Karen Zav Smuch Rishus Rabim? Not saying why do you need that case. He's saying, why are you saying that's considered a Carmelis, that's crooked house, the corners of the crooked house? That should be Chayrei Rishus Rabim. That's like the alcove of the Rishus Rabim, and it's considered Rishus Rabim. It's not a Carmelis.
So it's machlokas now.
So he has a kasha on Abaye. This is Rabbi's question.
What?
The Gemara answers, Abaye says, I said that those holes in Rosh Hashanah are considered Rosh Hashanah. That's when they were easy to use. Those are considered Rosh Hashanah. They're maybe the height of your arm or something, or whatever it is, that something that's easy to use. But if it's difficult to use because you're going to end up in this nook in that corner, so that's not considered a Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so Bais says that when it's Chayr Rosh Hashanah, only if it's easy to use. Tanan, we learned in a Mishnah, if you throw 4 tfachim against the wall, it's like you threw it, if it's above, you threw 4 amas. So threw something 4 amas in Rosh Hashanah, and it hits a wall. So, and it's above 10 tfachim. So it's like you threw it into the air, and it's as if it didn't land in the Rosh Hashanah. The matam yud tfachim, but if it's below 10 tfachim, gezerik parts, it's as if it landed on the ground. We asked about this. My gezerik parts, what do you mean it threw it into the ground? It didn't land on the ground. Rabbi Yochanan says we're talking about a sticky fig, a fat fig, that he threw it against the wall and it actually landed on the wall. So we were thinking that it bounced back, and he threw 4 cubits. And it's as if it landed there, so it didn't land there. It bounced back. It didn't go the 4 cubits, the 4 amas. We said no, it did land there because it stuck to the wall. So the question is like this. Why do you have to take this obscure case that you took this fig and you flung it against the wall and it stuck to the wall, and that's the case of something that's landing on the wall? That's the only case you can get. According to Abaya, why don't you just say it's any item and it landed in a crevice in the wall? Because Abaya holds a crevice in the wall. It's Rosh Hashanah. Why do you have to say it's a fat, sticky substance? It could land in the wall itself. According to Abaya. According to Rava, then you lose the case. He says, according to me, it's great. But according to Abaya, you have a better answer. That there's this landing in the wall. Why is it a better case? Because you don't have to say that it's only one item. The Gemara says like this. Zimnim meshani le shani tzrar v'chefetz d'mahader v'asi. Zimnim meshani le b'kaisad l'sbechar. This was answered. Sometimes the answer was that it could fall out because if you throw any item, it won't actually stay
the
there.
carnival.
Does the item have to have a certain size?
You didn't hear what I just
No.
said? Oh, it's on top of the board.
Possibly, yeah,
Three
'cause
balls
it needs to be
in,
something
under
like
every
that.
touch.
Of an olive?
Yeah.
You gotta
Would we
listen to this
say
corn.
groigers, the size
I
of a
started
pig?
ignoring it.
Shabbos carries is the size of a pig.
Get out.
Right.
My wife does that.
Apparently I was listening.
And sometimes the answer that they were dealing with the wall that didn't have a hole. What's the problem? Okay. Nimai, how do you know that this is the case? Midiktani Resha, because in the beginning of it, we said, we had two parts to this statement. One was if he threw, it was a Mishnah. If he throws above 10 tfachim, it's like it landed in the air. Below 10 tfachim, it's like it landed on the ground. So we said, look, Midiktani Resha, Zorak Lamaylam Yad Tfachim Kazorik Ba'avir. If you threw it above 10 tfachim, it's like it landed in the air. If you're dealing with a wall that has a hole in it, and that some sort of usage in the wall, why is it considered like it landed in the air? It did land. It landed in the hole. So what's going to happen over there if it lands in the hole? That should be
No longer holy.
This is the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
It's above 10 tefachim, right?
It's above 10 tefachim. And we're going to now assume that above 10 tefachim, a hole in the wall is going to be considered a Rishus HaYachid.
Basket's 10 feet.
That's our problem. It's going to become a Rishus HaYachid. We said on top of a fence, top of a wall, that's Dalet al Dalet, above 10 tefachim is Rishus HaYachid. Maybe you'll say that it's not Dalet al Dalet. From Rabbi Yehuda, well, here it's not, it's a hole in the wall. From Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Rabbi Chia, really? Something's interesting there. Zorak l'maylam yud tfachim. If someone throws above 10 tfachim, v'halcha v'nacha b'char, kol shehu, and it lands in a hole in the wall, even if it's very small, that itself is a machlokes. The Rameir Savar Chaykin Lahashlim. Okay, the sugi of Chaykin Lahashlim had to do with Hilchas Mezuzah. If the upper part of a doorway,
If you imaginarily cut it out,
if the upper part of the doorway isn't 4 tefachim wide, because it has the, can I show this? Because it has an arch. So the mayor holds Chaykin Lahashlim. You can imaginarily, fictitiously cut it out and make it like as if it has the area and it's required and it requires a mezuzah. So Chaykin Lahashlim. Yeah, but you don't actually do it. You imagine that you're doing it. We carve to complete. We legally view the entrance as if it were enlarged. So that would mean that if in the area why do you have to do it?
That's the question.
No,
Why do it all together?
no,
Because if it
because
does,
It
Wait, does
No,
the iPad give you questions?
no, it goes like
Does the
this.
iPad give you pop-ups with questions, or do you come up with
The wall has the dimension. The wall itself has the dimensions. The doorway doesn't. But I complete the doorway because the wall itself contains those dimensions. So I'm able to still have the doorway if it would be completed. So here also, if the wall would be wide enough to have that size hole, and it just happens to be smaller, but Rameir holds Chaykin Lahashlim, that I'm able to imagine that the wall is bigger and it could still, that the hole is in the wall is bigger because the wall technically could be bigger. So Rabbanan Sabri ain't fighting lahashtem. You don't carve out to complete the size. Okay, so what are we left with? Because it must be that there is no hole in this wall. Why? What's proving this? Because above 10 tefachim, I'm going to be stuck. We said that if it lands above 10 tefachim, then we said that it's kazarik ba'avir. Why is kazarik ba'avir? It should be like Rosh Hashanah, at least according to one opinion. So it must be that there was no hole in the wall. No hole in the wall. Then we had to go back.
Because he says there's enough
Wall?
depth in the wall.
Right. Oh, so first of all, Rashi says Stam Mishnah Reb Meir. Yeah, I'm not answering that question. I think they understand that the wall probably is solid. But because Stam Mishnah Reb Meir, it should fit with Reb Meir. And so Shema Mino, we have to say that we're not dealing with a wall that has holes in it. What we're left with is that we don't have a kasha on Abaya that says Chayri Rosh Hashanah. It's Rosh Hashanah because those that case didn't have a hole in it. Let's leave it over here.
Wow.
It'll be a Shabbos.
See what the Prime Minister of Canada got?
Why not?
Or his wife. It's pretty rough, huh? Pretty crazy.